Once upon a time, Maria lived in a world where love was eternal. Every morning she'd wake up beside Alex, her high school sweetheart turned husband, and think how lucky she was to have him. They had their own place, a cozy cottage with a garden out back that was filled with flowers. Alex loved to make her breakfast in bed, and in the evenings they'd cuddle up on the couch watching old movies. Life was perfect, and Maria never imagined it could be anything but happy ever after. But love's illusions can be deceiving, for there are cracks that even the strongest bonds can't mend. One day, Alex started working late. He'd come home tired and distant. Maria missed their intimate talks and cozy nights in. She tried to be understanding, telling herself that work stress would pass. But then the distant glances and the locked phone became a part of every evening. At first, Maria just brushed it off. Alex was under pressure at work. There were deadlines and important clients. Maria knew that he was a dedicated employee who took his work seriously. She also told herself that if Alex was going through a tough time, she was lucky to be there for him, to give him emotional support and remind him that he was loved. But then the odd moments started to feel like a pattern. Maria would get a whiff of perfume on Alex's coat, a perfume that wasn't hers. Then there were the missed calls from unknown numbers and the hushed whispers on the other end that sounded almost intimate. Once, as Maria was making dinner, she heard Alex laughing. It was a deep, hearty laugh that sent shivers down her spine. And it wasn't just the sound of his laughter, but the way he was holding his phone as if sharing a joke with someone else. When she asked him about it, his expression shifted, his eyes losing their usual warmth. He mumbled something about a funny video and quickly changed the subject. That night, Maria couldn't sleep. She lay awake listening to the quiet hum of the night, watching the clock's hands move ever so slightly, marking the minutes until Alex returned. When the key turned in the lock, Maria's heart raced. But it wasn't with joy or anticipation, but with a strange mix of dread and determination. She wanted to confront him, to ask him the questions that had been clawing at her throat all week. The following morning, Maria woke up before Alex. She slipped out of bed, careful not to wake him, and went to check her phone. That was when she saw the message. It was a message from Emily, a colleague of Alex's whom Maria had met once. The message was simple: "See you tomorrow, Alex, can't wait." Below the message was a picture of 2 coffee cups and a date that read yesterday. Maria felt a chill. Her entire world seemed to shatter into a million pieces. Her hands trembled. The image burned into her eyes, seared into her memory. She remembered the perfume, the hushed phone calls, and the stolen laughter. Driven by an instinct she couldn't explain, Maria followed Alex. She trailed him to a quaint little cafe nestled in a corner of the city. It was a place known for its delicious coffee and serene ambience, a favorite spot for couples. And there they were, Alex and Emily, sitting in a corner table laughing, their heads close together. It was like the cafe itself was conspiring in their charade, offering them a stage to play out their deceit. As Maria turned to leave, a sudden surge of emotion, a torrent of tears threatening to spill. She couldn't hold it in anymore. Back home, in the sanctuary of their living room, Maria confronted Alex. The words tumbled out of her, cracking and breaking under the weight of her tears. "How long?" she whispered, her voice hoarse with unshed tears. Alex looked down, his gaze fixed on the worn rug beneath his feet. "I'm sorry, Maria," he began, his voice barely above a whisper. "I never wanted to hurt you." Maria's heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. "I gave you my heart, my trust, my life. And you traded it all for her," she cried, her voice echoing in the suddenly silent room. "I made a mistake," he whispered, the words catching in his throat. "A mistake is forgetting our anniversary," Maria shot back, her voice trembling with suppressed anger. This was a choice. You chose her over me, over us." And in that moment, Maria knew the love they shared was dead. The warmth, the trust, the very essence of their bond had disintegrated into a pile of ashes. Alex, the man she once knew, the man she loved with all her heart, had become a stranger. So Maria did the hardest thing she's ever done. She walked away. She walked away from the shattered pieces of her heart, away from the suffocating grip of deceit, and toward the sunlight streaming through their front door. She didn't look back. She didn't need to. Because sometimes letting go is the most loving thing you can do, not just for yourself, but for the memory of what once was.